I can come if they go on you. It's pretty good. Coming bot, no flash this guy.
Fully bad.
Take it slow. Block.
Nice. I still have heal.
Okay. They're in here, they're here. Look.
Yeah. Dyna no flash.
I'm fine. I flashed out.
Dyna dead.
It's all you guys.
I'm on Yasuo. I'm on Yasuo.
It's just you.
I'm on Kai'Sa.
Kai'Sa no flash.
Kai'Sa flash in.
You got Kai'Sa, right?
Yeah, I got Kai'Sa.
Nice job, guys.
I'm going mid.
I'm going ball now.
Has flash?
Watch Meg.
Yeah. Careful Yasuo ulti, okay? Careful Yasuo.
That's flash. I have ulti for real.
On Gnar.
I'm on the back line.
Yeah.
Trying.
My ult is 5 seconds. I cannot go in. I can go in now, Felix.
Yeah.
Just look here. Look. Come with me, guys.
You start now.
I think we start too, yeah.
Look, Dyna, no flash.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have ulti still.
I have heal. Dyna.
I think we win.
Dyna. Look, Kai'Sa. You win this.
Kai'Sa no flash.
Look at Dragon.
I think do Dragon, yeah.
Ours mid, by the way. Do 1.2.
Okay.
Look.
Yeah, we're on.
Dyna.
Dyna?
You're sitting on Bear.
Yeah, I'm getting back. I'm going back.
Yep.
I'm taking. Nice.
You can just hook this guy. Looks good.
Kill front now.
We don't have ulti.
I have Megasun, okay?
Yeah?
Dyna dead.
I'm on Yasuo.
I'm on Nautilus.
Yasuo.
Nautilus flash.
I have heal.
No flash.
Go.
No ulti.
We win.
Play friend.
Give me Penta.
Just give in. Go
Give me
in.
Penta.
I'm teaming bot. Okay. Let's go, guys. Yeah, just end together. Ignore them.
Yeah. Watch the Mega.
Yeah.
Can we hit Nexus?
After kite.
Okay, I'm hitting. I'm on Diana.
Fight.
I'm healing. I'm 1 HP,
Kai'Sa.
guys. I'm 1 HP.
We can.
Fine. Just hit the
Yasuo's up. Just hit Nexus.
And.
Let's go, guys. Nice job.
Okay.
Let's go, guys.
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. Last week, Licorice stunned fans and analysts alike with a return to former glory on Golden Guardian. But somebody else has also been putting up some pretty sweet performances of his own, and that's his lane opponent in this game, Cloud9, his successor, Fudge.
Indeed. And I think Fudge is currently the best performing top laner. Although Impact just had that crazy
He
performance.
did just have a pretty
So I
crazy
have to update my view. But before that,
Breaking, record-setting,
Yeah.
top lane game.
I know.
that was
Continue with
insane.
the point.
But without that game,
Right.
for sure, I think Fudge has been the best. And I think Fudge has had a situation that's kind of difficult, right? Because we haven't seen Blabber in the same form as usual. We haven't seen Perks exerting the kind of pressure we expect from him mid. But I think what Fudge is bringing is flexibility and carry potential from top lane on a variety of picks. He's been really favoring the Viego lately. And he actually has the best CSD of people in his position. So despite the fact that C9 is kind of falling apart around him, I think the fact that he's been able to string together consistently good performances is really impressive.
He has a higher CSD than Alfari does?
Excluding Alfari.
We exclude
He's
Alfari
barely
due to the
there.
small sample size of
Gotcha.
games.
I was
Yeah.
about to say, I'm thinking in my head, is that true?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like true considering Alfari.
This segment's not about
he
Alfari,
will-
huh?
Yeah, but I was just curious, you know?
No. I'm curious your perspective, not to make a direct comparison of the two, because obviously Cloud9 looked different when, Licorice was on it. But a lot of talk was about Fudge and the big shoes that he had to fill because of the performance and the type of player that Licorice was on Cloud9. I mean, how do you feel Fudge has kind of stepped into that role overall over the year?
Right. Well, when Fudge first came in, I didn't think he was very good at all. I watched his lane phase. I thought it was awful. He didn't know how to control lane. He didn't see us well. He didn't trade well. But throughout this past year, he's gotten so much better. Hence why I brought up earlier how he's possibly MVP of the split.
Right.
Or at least at the very least his team, right? So he's gotten a lot better. And I think at the very least, he's reached the level of where Licorice was when he was on C9, at least to that team. Now, Licorice is back onto Golden Guardians. Well, not back on, but now he's on Golden Guardians. And now he's back to form. It's similar to his C9 Licorice days. So now it's like the old C9 Licorice versus the new replacement. And hopefully they have fun with it. Like when I got replaced on teams, I always found it fun to play against my former teammates. I know it's been a while since he's been on C9 and things like that, but I hope they still have that good camaraderie. And hopefully in lane, they try to ego on each other. I think that's the most fun. Whenever Jensen always lane versus me, he tried to eagle me. I thought that was fun. I hope that happens here in this game.
I mean, so what do we think it is about Licorice, though, that makes him a stellar player? And what wasn't, necessarily unlocked on Cloud9 and Golden Guardians that wasn't on FlyQuest High? I'll go back to you and then over to Kaizen.
Right, I got it. His mechanics are superb. I got destroyed by him in a 1v1.
Okay.
It wasn't close. I've destroyed a bunch of the other pros, but he destroyed me in every top lane matchup that I did. So I think his mechanics are really, really good. From my understanding of when he was on FlyQuest, he had a lot more burden on his shoulders of like, hey, this is what we need to do. Hey, this is how we need to play the game. And when he's deciding all those things, it's harder to play the game. But now is when you see him on Golden Gardens, I see him diving the enemy top laner a lot, whereas before he got dove a lot, he didn't play well in lane because he didn't have help. But nowadays, he's the one returning that, so I think his laning and mechanics are really solid.
Yeah, and I think in addition to all that, we have to remember that when he was on that FlyQuest roster, in addition to being the captain, I think he was also the lane that was expected to carry game after game. So it's pretty telegraphed what you have to do against FlyQuest is like focus around top. So I think now that he's in a position where he's playing with a solo laner who's really come into his own right in a Blaze Olive, for example, and even the bot lane has been really good for Golden Guardians recently, there's a lot less pressure and predictability on Licorice teams.
Did you guys see those stats? They're basically copy-pasted to each other. I think Licorice has 4 solo kills.
He had the lead
to the 2.
everywhere. He had 4 to 2 kills. Higher CSD, only week 6 to 7 to be fair.
Yeah, it was only
Week 1 to 5 was not C9 Licorice. Week 6 to 7 was C9 Licorice.
GG Licorice, a completely different beast.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not asking you to predict the whole draft, but when it comes to matchup in the top lane, we talked a little bit about what Fudge has been favoring more recently for Licorice. I mean, like, is the expectation that one of them will have the onus put on them today to ultimately win the matchup in a specific way, kind of like it had been before with FlyQuest and Licorice? Or, you know, are we looking for more of a handshake, let's get through the laning phase kind of situation and see who plays the team fights better?
Yeah, I mean, I remember Blalov said in his interview, you know, we feel like once we get to later in the game, we're totally fine, and we've had so much practice in macro scenarios. So long as we don't fall behind early game, we'll be fine. So I don't think from GG's perspective, they need to get the top rolling. Yeah, and nor do I think that's a smart thing to do, because I think that's actually been C9's strong point. They have other points in the map where I think they can outperform. So I don't expect this to come down to top versus top, although I would love that ego check.
I think there will be blood. Every team has shown that they've been willing to give away Gwen today, along with Viego, generally or not. Gwen is not a laner where you just sit in lane, considering they go Ignite or Ghost and they try to get a solo kill. I'm pretty sure one of them will have it. I'm not sure which one, but the one that has it will probably win the lane, I would imagine. But however, if
the qualifiers are coming in now.
C9 has Gwen, Licorice is probably gonna ask for help, and he plays well with jungle help, with mid lane help. I'm pretty sure there should be blood up there.
All right,
I'm expecting blood.
All eyes on the top lane matchup between Fudge and Licorice as we dig our way into Golden Guardians versus Cloud9. Pastry time, and Kobe, take it away.
Thank you, Dash. We will. It's the final game of the weekend. Week 7 is almost over, Kobe. It is wild how close we are to playoffs. With only 2 more weeks left after today's game finishes. And Cloud9, our defending champions, are going up against a resurgent Golden Guardian.
Yeah, that's the funnest part of being so close to playoffs. This is not a normal lead up to playoffs where, especially this season, where this is the longest summer we've ever had of 3 round robins. You would think maybe coming into it, you'd be like, all right, we've seen so many games. We know who's coming in. We know who the best teams are. No, you don't. The Golden Guardians and FlyQuest Academy have been some of the most exciting teams with these resurgences at the very last moment, really making the drive towards the end of the season incredibly competitive, incredibly exciting, and we're gonna roll it on through here. Blaze Olive pulled out the Tom Kench mid, had some interesting displays with it as well, I believe, against some people who were not quite ready for it. And I want to see what they go with this time around. It's an instant lock for the Lucian, most highly probably Perks, one of the very good 80 carry mids that he has used ever since his transition back to mid lane. Really has felt comfortable on these. Opens you up to stuff like the Diana and Gwen, which are both still available. So Golden Guardians probably won't lock both of those in, and you can get an easy one of the 2 on the other half here for Cloud9.
Yeah, I like to pick up there for C9 for all the reasons you mentioned. Definitely agree that has been probably Perks' best looking champion, at least in a recent memory. But Iconic has also been very good on Diana, and I think she is still within literally permabanned in every game. The best jungle right now. The Golden Guardians will snap that one up, and we'll see what they want to do for their second pick here.
Yeah, there's no way they also take the Gwen here, so I think that that'll go back to the Cloud9 side. You kind of slingshot it there. They're exchanging AP and AD picks off the bat by virtue of having to ban out Olaf because it's Blabber. You just saw what Closer did with it. Guess what? Blabber's 11-1 on it, and not going to let that one go through. So there's your Gwen pick that we expected, paired with the Volibear for the early ganking for Blabber. This is not nearly the same fear factor that an Olaf brings, but the level 3 power of early Volibear ganks, very threatening. When you've got a Lucian, you can pair it with just that one stun and a little bit of slow there can mean the difference between life and death for either of those solo laners. And I also really like Volibear picks into Lee Sin. You can predict the ultimates, use your own ultimates, make them look silly, immune it. If you do it early though, and you buff up your HP, and then you jump right into the Lee Sin, he kicks you back into your team will be angry at you because Big Bear Body does a lot of damage when it's flying the wrong way.
Certainly does, as Blaze Olive does select Ziggs probably for Stixxay. It's actually something we've seen from Golden Guardians already, but there is of course the opportunity to play at mid lane. Doesn't sound very fun playing into Perks' Lucian as Ziggs. Tristan is going to get banned there as well. Looks like Sven's losing some champions as Jace going to get banned away. Again, respecting the flexibility of Lee Sin and the likelihood of Ziggs as a bot laner here, still trying to target out some of those solo lanes, especially towards the top side.
I'm going to say it every single time we keep seeing this Ziggs priority stay true in the LCS. Said it last week, I want some Draven picks. Come on, Sven. It's probably just going to be, Varus. Okay, we get more lethality Varus. But Draven just smashes Ziggs so hard down on the bottom side. I really want teams to, especially with Cloud9 showing early priority and ganking possibilities there with the Volibear, invest in, hey, win early, snowball the game. This is how Cloud9 had their name in lights, how they win multiple spring splits was through this type of style. They ban away the Nautilus. I like that on bottom side. One of the good pairings with Ziggs because of the great setup there. Makes it very easy for Ziggs to actually hit the tremendous amount of damage that you have. That's the only thing sometimes that can become a little difficult if the opponents are too mobile. Sometimes they spread. Sometimes they're Gwen and they just W and your ult doesn't do damage to them. Nautilus makes things a lot easier.
All right, Leona there, probably the best spot left up, and typically a pretty safe blind, so Tram will take that one there. Did like his Rel, but Rel is pretty situational, not a whole lot of fun 2v2s for her in general, and as predicted, Kobe, it does look like instead of Raven,
where's my surprise Pikachu?
We'll get,
do it now. Oh, that's pretty good.
We'll get Varus.
We get the Nautilus replacement of Leona. Very similar thing, does the same things. Then we get the Varus on the other side, looking for the strong lane for the lethality poke through. And to round it all out, the final reveal here, because you have to show first. What's it gonna be, Fudge? What's it gonna be? Actually, no, I'm just kidding. It's support. It's the Varus plus the Thresh on bottom side. Of course, you get your good Flay timing. You can put a stop to a lot of these Leona plays. So Vulcan locks that one in. Transition back to the Golden Guardian side. This is the final reveal that we're looking for. It is for
Licorice, probably.
Probably, because I really love Lee Sin in the jungle. I don't think you should be playing it in lanes anymore.
Ooh, I got bad news for you, Kobe. There's a Diana in the game.
Yeah, I would rather have Lee Sin jungle Diana mid.
Ooh.
But probably not going to be the case.
All right, well, there's Renekton. That's the Gwen counter pick, basically, right? That looked like the pick the Golden Guardians were lining up. We'll see where the rest of the champions shake out. But it does look like Lane Lee Sin is back.
So, my question is, which jungler is going to be able to affect the top side first? And this is going to depend on your summoner spells. Volibear should have the earlier options because Diana is looking to full clear. Wants to get all the camps on first respawn, ticking away so that you can get to your level 6 as quickly as possible, whereas Volibear is one of the champions that will be okay with skipping early camps in order to get those early ganks out. If top lane is a viable target there, I fully expect Blabber to try and get up there level 3, get that early kill on the Licorice. If Gwen gets that, she's so happy, can dominate up there, really turn around the matchup on Renekton. But with them having the confidence in last picking the Renekton here for Licorice, maybe they actually try and counter.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. Golden Guardians looking to basically just continue upsetting teams, right? At this point, you know, they're climbing up, they're doing what they can to get that last playoff spot for themselves, potentially. And it starts by winning as many games as you possibly can.
Well, Fudge said, or excuse me, Sven said
there we go.
in his interview that Golden Guardians will only beat good teams, so Cloud9 are safe.
There we go.
Quite the memer. Love to see it here. Have Cloud9 protected themselves pace streak, and they ward off the blue shells coming out of Golden Guardians recently. Let's take a look.
Alrighty, well, it is Ignite for going as expected. In fact, in general, there's nothing too surprising to kick things off, except for the 4 people group top lane.
Yeah, the other one is Ghost. When you do have a lot of targets where you can chase down like this, the Ghost actually is quite viable too with the champion, and I do like it in the exchanged ones. But because you're going up against Renekton, why is this gap always open? Yeah, okay, so it was actually, this time around there's a real reason, because Golden Guardians were trying to make the top lane play, okay? So this is not a normal defense fan spread with just one opening left. This is Golden Guardians were trying to make the top lane play. They were trying to do the pincer movement up here, and so that's why deep ward there from Cloud9 is going to see the transition from Iconic as he passes through the Wolf camp, and they will have an easy timer on it. See if that allows Blabber here with the sweeper to go in, get this ward nice and early. You can share experience with both solo laners. It's actually so profitable for the solo laners because you can just hit level 2 on the first wave and have an extra wave of full priority here. Love it. Yeah, both solo laners the experience. Even give the gold over to the Lucian for the quick burst. And they're going to have Raptor steal. Looks like a bit of a split map pastry time. I proffered the question, which jungler is going to affect top lane first? Well, looks like Blabber gets to do it before the minions even get to lane, because now it's going to be a split map, and it has to be answered there on the other side by Iconic. Let's see the question now. If they can push up on bottom side for Cloud9 here, then you can actually cross as Blabber to your red and deny the answer from Iconic, so that you basically 3-buff him. In addition to stealing away the Raptors, you starve out this Diana, you further delay the level 6, and you got the authority there for Fudge on top side, who has taken the Ignite for the all-ins.
And that's exactly what's happening. But as Cloud9 take to the Rift, a reminder that's starting tomorrow. C9's final series against Team Liquid at the MSS, that's Mid-Season Showdown Finals, will be available on ProView Premium. As an appetizer for that, you can check out Perks vs. Blaze Olive in this game, though, for absolutely free. That's so cool, by the way. Watching old matches with ProView with comms as well, I believe. Super cool as someone that loves LCS history.
Iconic sad, does get to go for his Krugs.
Gets the bad news.
Will be able to transition towards the other Scuttle, but since Fudge is pushing on top side, he's going to have to make a long trek. Blabber should be transitioning up to top Scuttle to further and finally just cut off the rest of the jungle options. Correct move from him. 15 seconds left on that Scuttle Crab, so you can do one more camp first, pick up your blue buff, take your top Scuttle. Iconic has to reset down to bottom side, so Cloud9 should know exact location, exact route of Iconic. There are no other options for him to go for, as long as he is not waiting in Tri-Brush to gain top side. He has to have reset down to the bottom Scuttle, and guess what? Team play, baby! I just love this. They're trying to take out this bottom Scuttle before he gets their first 2, but they have to do it quickly.
Going for it again. A Blaze Olive actually fighting Sven and Vulcan. 1v2. The Lee Sin just getting in there. Finds the Q. Gets himself exhausted. Dips back to Chime, and now it's Golden Guardians that will give Iconic a much-needed Scuttle Crab.
I love this pastry. When both teams are fighting over their jungle for their junglers here, they know they have to. Golden Guardians, everybody fight off the bottom lane of Cloud9 to allow him to pick this up. Now Perk's a little bit aggressive in his positioning.
Oh, goodness. Chime gets the max range play. They're going for it. Perks, though, is getting the shots fired, and Iconic is going to get shielded up. Will not die, but was forced to burn the flash.
And so the reason that's very aggressive position is because you just saw that 4-person squad chase off your bottom lane from trying to take that Scuttle before the enemy jungle got there. So they knew for sure everybody is bottom side of the map in Fog of War. They have not revealed themselves on the bottom wave yet.
Oh,
Top
no.
side, though, Licorice is very far up.
Fudge is really gonna sell this one here as Licorice spots Blabber. W down stun is good. Damage is there, and Licorice is just gonna be felt. It is first blood over to Fudge.
Snip, snip, snip. Fudge so happy here. The wave right in front of his tower. The bottom lane play was just made to save the Golden Guardian jungler, so all resources are accounted for. Pastry time and calculated early game from Cloud9. This is what they need in all of their games, okay? So many of them have been upset by losing out skirmishes. The Scuttle Crab still haunts them, but this one's so much more calculated from the invade. Topside, though, revenge for Licorice.
Ooh. One more auto needs a Q. Oh, no flash, remember, but now Licorice, yeah, gonna have to go for it. Didn't even flash. Licorice finds the return solo kill.
Yep, not gonna get away with this one. There's a crocodile in the brush. Licorice, unperturbed by the early kill, teleports right back, gets his own vengeance. Pastry time. You like to see that for your top laners. They're independent. You know, you get ganked, what do? You brush yourself off, you go back there, and you solo kill him. That's what I'm going to tell my top laners.
Yeah, he's a positional coach. Old Swips will be happy with that one. Really nice counterplay there for Licorice. I was also going to say he did a good job avoiding the first time Perks went up there, which is actually why Blaze Olive was able to do what he did to fight them off. But now Blabber on Volibear, not a left, but still a similar look here. Going to be taking that nice and quickly.
Hey, my favorite show. This hey! I'm on that.
You are on that.
Highly recommended. Let's take a look about Blabber, though. Does he have the extra damage? This is still untransformed smite, so it's only the 450.
Gonna be okay. Has the lantern there as well. Iconic maybe fancying a steal. Didn't have smite, unfortunately for him. So a nice look there for Golden Guardians, but it is Cloud9 that pick up the early Drake.
Yes, sir. Just in the nick of time there. All right, so recap. Top laner, fending for himself. Good early game for Cloud9, though. Coming straight out of the gates, planning their level 1, off their invade, split the map, cut off the early Scuttle Crabs, trying to make Iconic divert his route. However, also good response by Golden Guardians. You have to give credit to this team. They have been so scrappy, fighting their way back. The team, 4 people converged to ensure they could get bottom scuttle. Now they're roaming up for the top dive. 3 people again.
Of course, Gwen, just the W. Blaze Olive insta flashes in for it, but Vulcan has read the play. So well done out of Vulcan, as they will get 3 in the top side.
That is a support diff, baby! Vulcan's there, saves the day. We actually hear them on stage chanting right now. Fudge is so insanely happy. Your Gwen is fed, Pastry. You just feel like, my game is so secure now because she scales so incredibly well. There are 4 melee champions. It's so nice to be able to get the Qs for Gwen through all of them. She excels in these types of matchups. She's got so much early money. Vulcan, the timing here. Oh my God. What can't this man do? He flashes in. He was just outside of vision. Gets the lantern off into... at that moment, Golden Guardians knew, we've been had.
Yeah, if you don't laugh...
timinged us.
Yeah, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. By the way, production, you already have Assist of the Week geared up for next weekend, so that's good. At least Vulcan with absolutely pixel-perfect timing on that. And Golden Guardians, that was a good play. It just got countered by a better play as a Blaze Olive and Perks going at it. Chime staying so active as a Blaze Olive will take down Perks.
Support timings are some of the most deadly. They must be respected. Pastry time. Honestly, nowadays, the support ganks looking more dangerous than the jungle ganks.
Oh, yeah, way better.
Chime gets one off there on the side of Golden Guardians, though, and they get paid. It's going to give them the control of Rift Herald. It won't be an answer there from Cloud9. You see Blabber, actually, they do call up Varus. It's just that the timing window is about to slam shut. The smites are now transformed, so...
Oh, they're actually going for Blabber instead. Not even finishing this off. Blabber going to pop the ulti. Chime a little low. Only level 4, but Blabber gets caught in the moonfall. And now the Rift Herald's got to go to some of its. Ventus assassinates the level 4 Leona. Fudge is down here as well. Golden Guardians just tried to get everything. Instead, they get nothing.
Woo! They've got
it's the crowd.
In the crowd too. I see the Cloud9 social team is cheering them on because they know this one's going to go down in history as the massacre of the Rift Herald pit.
Vulcan again. Making the top laner of Golden Guardians very unhappy, saying hello to his former teammate Licorice there. As Stixay is like, guys?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, you've got a 5-kill Gwen in the game at 9.5 minutes, and Styx says he's got some turret plates for himself down there for the Golden Guardians, so that's some gold. Okay, you can count on that one.
The good thing he has 2 amp terms because he's got a lot of reading to do as he's shoving those waves in. So watch this one again.
Yeah, the tragedy of the Rift Herald fight for Golden Guardians, while the Smite is transformed, he doesn't have his next cooldown available. So they find themselves in the situation where Cloud9 have yet again made the better bottom lane timing window. They actually called up through the river Varus, and Vulcan had already walked out through base. So Cloud9 outnumber them since they committed their Ziggs to bottom side, and since they didn't have Smite, they can't get out. Licorice knows it's a tragedy for him. Now his lane opponent has a full Rift Maker on top of the Bramble Vest. There's no way you tangle with that.
Nope. And all the potential pressure, all the setup, honestly, the Golden Guardians did well to set up that top lane dive to try and keep Licorice ahead in the lane they wanted to get him ahead in. In the place of the map we expected there to be action, and Vulcan just undid all of that and then some.
Bottom lane timers, pastry time. You gotta respect them. Cloud9 are using them well. Here's another move.
He's chilling. Vulcan's level 6, by the way. He was also level 6 for that Rift Herald play.
Yeah.
If you're counting at home, Chime was level 4. So that should tell you just how much Vulcan got done with that first play in the top side. Silver linings for Golden Guardians. Iconic did, in fact, get the Herald's Eye, so they will have the Rift Herald to try and pop down somewhere. But yeah, it's not a lot here as C9 have found themselves with a very strong early gold lead. And look at that, a second dragon to boot.
All right, we got a ward down there from Golden Guardians, and they do have teleport on Licorice. I wonder how much they fancy it.
All right, somebody check Vulcan's PC. A Blaze Olive here. Going to be fended off by Perkz and Vulcan. Iconic trying to find the play. Perkz has gone deep for the culling. The lantern is there, though. But now Chime's over the top, but he's in a 1v3. Chime's going to keep chasing. He wants to kill the enemy mid laner, but he's going to be denied. Sven gives him the thumbs up as he grabs the kill, and now Licorice in a 1v1 under his own tower that looks like he is losing.
Did you just call it the VAC on Vulcan, by the way? Oh, that's hilarious. Blabber also in a dangerous spot, but guess what? Your boy Vulcan is here when you need him. When you need him most.
Oh, Blaze Olive with a very aggressive. Oh my god, that play was so good. Vulcan now going to be finally forced to flash, but everything the Golden Guardians are trying to do is being denied by Vulcan. Is fudge. He's found the solo kill onto Licorice.
Guys, how did this Gwen get so fed? Hey, why is this Gwen so fed here? Ignite goes down for Fudge. He gets another one, 6 to his name. Is that a 500 gold bounty?
It is.
I see. That's a hard one to get, but this is a point in the game where you start pinging that, you're spamming it in chat like 500 gold bounty. Hey, look for late. Maybe we get paid. I send like 4 or 5 people up there.
All right, I found the Rift Herald. This is gonna probably finish off the tower if it makes it to the wave. Should make it. Indeed, Stixay has again been diligently working and reading here in the bottom side of the map. That's actually the first tower gold. Hilariously enough, so Golden Guardians going to collect a bit of extra gold as a result of that, but they are still woefully behind thanks to all these plays out of Cloud9.
Vulcan, death sentence to start it all. Perkz finishes him off with the flash to make sure his culling has enough, and then with his dash and then going back into the lantern, actually has enough effective HP to kite out Chime. No extra damage there. There's nothing for him to do except for cry into the river as Lucian walks away. No extra long-range damage left in the Golden Guardians, and so it is Cloud9 who have full reign over Summoner's Rift. Maybe a topside play here for the Golden Guardians. As you see, they invested heavily in vision, at least. Chime has been able to sweep out this river. They go through with Iconic as well. Super deep, looking for any plays, but it seems like Cloud9 on their reset timers from the bottom side won't be in any danger. They just were able to take away 2 objectives off the bottom quadrant there of the jungle. You see leaving behind extra control wards to allow Sven to finish up their push on bottom side. Perkz is the target. Can he get out of this one? Vulcan's coming up mid.
Oh, that actually hits. Interplay nails it. Solfair follows up, and that's a really nice pick for Golden Guardians. But Blabber maybe looking for some counterplay. Fudge also ready with a TP. Blabber going in. Sven roaming up. Vulcan's here as well. There's the ulti out of Volley. Iconic is going to flash over to safety, but they are going to leave a Blaze Olive to die. But he takes down Blabber's not dead yet. Sven tries to find the snipe, doesn't get it. As Stixay roams up, and Golden Guardians have found 3
just in time. Perks killed off in mid lane, and even though Blabber and Vulcan were trailing up mid a couple of seconds off, timing the difference between life and death in this game so far in the Roams, Golden Guardians with a huge comeback play through the jungle. 2 more deaths picked up as Blabber and Vulcan tried to make them pay for taking down their mid laner, and yet it's just the Golden Guardians getting that much richer.
All right, well, that's going to bring the gold back, Kobe, as one way to beat the 6-1-1 Gwen with a Riftmaker is to not have Gwen in the fight.
Exactly. Make your plays away from the Fed member. And look at how close it is. If it was 1 more second of travel time, Vulcan could have made the same play where he gets up there and he's got the lantern with the exhaust, but it's not there, and Blabber tries to salvage it here. Really good move to be able to save a Blaze Olive. He just spell shields himself, the Ziggs over the top there. Stixxay finishes off the kill, so he gets his Triumph heal, and then flash from Iconic to lock up the Varus. Nobody can finish off a Blaze. They make it out alive. Cloud9 right back to business as usual, though. They're trying to play off of Fudge as they should. Try and refocus, Pastry. When it gets crazy like this, when your opponents make a big comeback play, return to your strongest member. Fudge up there, they help him finish off the top tower.
Perks, though, in trouble again. Does have the flash, but a really nice little dodge there. Gets him away from the incoming Solar Flare, and no wave, unfortunately, for Golden Guardians to try and push that down. A Blaze Olive, though, is working on the tier 2 and bottom side.
And this is why, Pastry Time, so many fans have been so happy to see the changes in FlyQuest and Golden Guardians specifically towards the end of this split. Even when you hit them with some early deficits, they keep looking for these openings. You know, they're making 3-person incursions into the enemy jungle to go for the dive in mid lane instead of sitting back, waiting for the team with the advantage to take away objective after objective. Golden Guardians still have a lot of work to do, but they've taken the first step along that path. Now Ablaze has taken another step.
He's looking for a big play. Finds the Q onto Sven. Gonna take it back and he assassinates him. Golden Guardians find 1, but now Fudge, he's in the fight this time. Iconic has absolutely 0 chance in that one as Fudge is still going for it, but he gets stunned up by Licorice, but that will not deter the Gwen. Hook from Vulcan onto a Blaze Olive, but no follow-up there from C9.
He actually does not miss. A Blaze Olive flank over behind the Raptor pit, actually sussed out by Golden Guardians. Can they say anything about this? Fudge is so massive.
Another hook on a Licorice. Goodbye. The snip to there. Perks will finish it off for Blaze Olive. Is trying to make a big play, but it's a double kill for Perks. Stixxay TPing in, but everything's on fire around the Dragon Pit as Perks has gotten the triple kill, and Cloud9 will take Dragon number 3 as well.
All right, Cloud9 smooth it out here, Pastry Time. They get their counter kill. They get the death sentence number 6 from Vulcan. Lands right on target, pulling in the extra kills. Here's a look at the play that started out, though. Really like the flank from Ablaze. They get the, the critical kill onto Varus. Iconic can't get out, though. Diana has no escape, so Cloud9 do punish, and Fudge finally gets to throw his power around in the team fight, charges forward on the Gwen. He's so fed that it has to be respected. Vulcan, as you say, he's just looking right back around. As soon as he lands that death sentence onto Licorice, Licorice just gets annihilated. He didn't get his Q off there. No heal, even with the stacked up Rage, and it is Gwen damage to finish it off there. Perks gets all 3 kill credits, so now he's finished Shreldia's, fully had his Gale Force already for the extra dodges, but this is the real power spike of the Lucian mid. It's so fun. You get to see it in action here. Your abilities are going to apply that slow, so it makes it a lot easier to hit all your culling shots. Plus, it's a flat damage and armor penetration, so you get a lot of mid-game spike here off this Lucian pick. Going to allow Cloud9 to play even more aggressively through the enemy jungle.
Unfortunately, Stixxay also burnt that teleport. Golden Guardians going in a touch too early around that Dragon, which, to be fair, was going to be a tough one to fight with no vision anyway. But could maybe avoid it for Stixxay if they really wanted to commit to it. But Golden Guardians continuing to throw caution to the wind. Licorice will finish off the tier 2 in bottom side, but Cloud9 quite a bit faster in the siege here with 3 people on top side.
I've got some good stats for you, Pastry Time. Earlier today, Impact broke the record for all time of any player in the LCS. Gold lead at 10. Guess what? Fudge in this game.
Are you kidding me? Oh,
he tied the record.
Exactly tied?
Yes.
That's ridiculous. Licorice, she's TP'd up the top side. We'll talk about that later. Vulcan gonna be left left for dead. A worthy sacrifice, perhaps, as Golden Guardians will give him the thumbs up. Vulcan's still not missing, but unfortunately, there's nothing left but a quick trip back to the fountain.
I thought Stats was trolling me. I was like, wait, what? We just broke that record. Yes. Okay, we've broken it again. Doesn't mean you can't re-break it.
That is absurd.
Okay, well. Today I learned. Next one up is going to be the Dragon Soul, though. Pastry time. 2.5 minutes ahead of that one for Cloud9, and they are right on course for it. Fudge, still retaining, is up to now 600 gold bounty on said Gwen. Going to be hard to take it off of the Gwen. It's so difficult already to take this champion down, and given the composition with all these melee champions excelling into them and so much setup here, wow, Perkz actually chases him off. So tower stands for a little bit longer.
I mean, what can you do? He's got Grudge. Like, you can't run. There's no
what
tower.
Can you do?
You need more teammates. Oh, Licorice needs more teammates. Fudge finds another solo kill in the face of a tier 2 tower.
All right, Fudge is looking for that legendary announcer voice to come out. Gets another one under the tower. Ignite gets a lot of use thus far in this game. Fudge definitely making the most of it, really making Gwen shine. Takes the turret, solo gold again for himself, just gonna further inflate this champ's power.
All right, well, Stixay is trying to wave clear here in mid. Zig's not bad at that. Does have 2 items already for Stixay. Goldly, though, has gotten quite a bit out of control. It's about 6,500 gold up for Cloud9. Most of that is in the hands of Fudge, although Perkz is also pretty far ahead as well, I have to imagine. Yeah. But Cloud9 have not made the same mistake of fighting without Fudge since that one little oopsie around the mid lane.
Love these plays, too, from Vulcan. We mentioned his roam timers from support. He trails Perkz here, makes it a 2v1 with the teleport.
I play solo just has to leave. I mean, I like the attempt. Golden Guardians have to try. Oh, what a snipe there from Sven. Gonna pick him off. Good flash. Really nice ward hop. And the culling is just barely gonna miss. No bullets will find him, but Fudge is now firing away at Blaze on. He's playing dodgeball. Fudge, though, just ease and snips him to death. Oh, it was a valiant attempt, but Golden Guardians of Blaze Olive will be sent back to the fountain.
That is a full commitment from both sides up to the top side. We end up with everybody here at the party, Pastry, and the minions are about to join us. So that means we get to continue the push towards the base. Cloud9 have mid lane pushing as well. They can just rotate Sven over there. Varus will insta-clear, get up to this secondary turret, and you just keep trucking away at these secondary turrets. The last one standing in mid should actually be defended by the Zig. Stixay, as much as, yeah, he hasn't been the center of a lot of the action for Golden Guardians, he has been the backbone of a lot of this damage output and a lot of the structural difference here. So he's able to both take bottom side earlier and defend the mid lane. Attempts, the long shot there.
Gotta do it.
Towards Dragon. High value if it actually does snag it, but easily weighted out there by C9.
All right, so here's the Blazeolo trying to make a play. C9 insta counter TP, and now the Great Escape begins.
Sven over the wall here. He's just behind Fog of War, so really nice snipe there from Sven. So much credit. Just outside of range for that culling. Ablaze makes the long run straight towards the wall, but Fudge comes in. Gwen ult number 1 causes him to walk backwards. Gwen ult number 2 causes him to walk backwards, and guess what? Then you've got no distance to run home. You've been dodging too much, so you get snipped.
Yep, easy one there for Fudge. Just guides him back towards the scissors and grabs himself yet another kill. He's 8th, actually, of this game. 8, 1, and 5 for Fudge. Up to 700 gold worth of extra money.
People like to use the term zoning ults.
Yes.
Unironically
yes.
there. You aim it at them character model slightly in front so that they have the choice of dodging backwards, which just ensures their death, as that's where the rest of the squad
shepherded back into auto attack range, as Baron is going to be on the brains of Cloud9. They've already got the Mountain Soul.
Baron brain. That sounds like a success story for Cloud9.
Alrighty, it's Fudge going to be, I say caught, that's not really fair. It's Chime actually that is currently under the thumb, and that ulti almost killed him. And that was the level 1 Gwen ulti. That's the least damaging for everyone playing at home. Levels 2 and 3, they're going to have to wait for Baron because that's where Cloud9 are going.
Yeah, good shield comes in, saves him there. So looks like with him being chunked out, he's running back to Baron. Maybe they got the hope left still here for Golden Guardians. Yeah, they're facing Mountain Soul, but Your only chance is trying to make an all-in at some point, and if Cloud9 get the Baron, then they'll be coming straight for your base.
All right, Iconic. Oh, Iconic's on the wrong side of this play. A Blaze Olive and Stixay.
It's got no smite, but you could try and combo.
Yeah, Lee Sin, not a jungler in this particular game. That's a good attempt, but very patient out of Cloud9 as Blabber will take the Baron.
Yeah, there's no summoner spell Lee Sin in this game. that would be hilarious. Some sort of Hail Mary play, but not going to be the case here. Cloud9 do get that Baron, and guess what? Golden Guardians try and do their dirty work here first, clear out their jungle camps, and wait for their moment. Bide their time, Pastry.
Running out of space, though, on the Rift, as Gwen is just a touch too powerful. Thanks to Vulcan's heroics early on. Golden Guardians do love the fighting spirit from them, but, you know, when you're behind and you throw yourselves at the enemy and it doesn't work, you are, of course, going to fall further and further behind. So it might look silly. I think it's still the right play in most cases here. But Cloud9 have just had such good control of this game, kind of since Fudge got, like, kill number 6. I think that's when it really went pear-shaped.
Yeah, I think it just, actually, to me, it was even just straight off that tower dive. What number was that? Was that 3 or something? Maybe 4?
He got a double kill, so I think that was 2 and 3.
Okay. Well, that one to me, and you see Vulcan, he's doing the same thing. I love this spacing from him. He's always keeping a great distance from Varus, allowing possible lantern plays. He's in position for these plays. He's interrupted Lee Sin.
He just eats it. Sven cleanses out of the Leona ulti. Chime is trying to dive in, but there is no follow-up there. Fudge is going to literally 1v4 zone as Blabber now going to dive in. Lightning Bear is good. A Blaze Olive with a decent kick, but there's nothing left but Sven and Gwen to fight, and Gwen is unfightable as Iconic. Now the only one left alive, but not for long. Off the back of the Red Bull Baron buff, it is going to be the Bud Light Ace. Feels pretty good to be Cloud9 right now.
It certainly does. You can hear the chants going up again from the social team. I gotta say, Vulcan, take a bow. The roams from Thresh, the lanterns consistently there. Yes, Perks and Fudge really well carried from solo lane play, but give that support some love.
Oh yeah, Vulcan, incredible game on Thresh. I mean, definitely a champion he is known for, and kind of reminding everyone why in this game. It was expected, predicted to be a bloodbath in the top lane. That is what we got. And unfortunately, there happened to be a spare support in Fudge's lane, and not the case for Licorice, even though Golden Guardians did throw people up there to try and right the ship for Licorice. Even though Licorice got his own solo kill, TPing back in, Vulcan just undid all that hard work in an instant.
Can't outsmart him. He's just too good, Pastry time.
Too good.
He's everywhere. Definitely a nice end to the weekend for Cloud9. Super strong right out of the gates. So many early kills fed onto the Gwen. Yeah, they had a little bit of a hiccup there, and props to Golden Guardians for making that dive mid. They tried to carve out a comeback for themselves. Love the new proactive look for them, going for the tower dive onto Perks. It's a small timing window because if you delay it at all, then Vulcan arrives again and he puts a stop to that play. So very well executed from them to give themselves some hope towards the mid game. But Cloud9, they didn't let that one veer them too far off the path to victory and correctly righted the ship.
Yeah, as a reminder, Golden Guardians were 2-0 coming into this game. So finishing the weekend 2-1, given they had some pretty tough opponents, beating EG to kick off their weekend, having a good showing up against Cloud9. Again, a weekend they can be proud of. Obviously, their player positioning is awkward, to say the least. But they're going to play and try and win as many of those games as they can and just see what happens.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for the race at the end.
It's going to be wild.
Of the year here. We've got teams at the top trying to figure out who is going to get the buys, who's going to be in the upper bracket, and then who is going to be the last cut to make it in. A lot of these late game efforts are looking very good. They're showing up with resumes we didn't think they had. There's extra lines
There's
on
extra
there.
players.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, where'd this come from? Some good experience I see here.
And, fair everyone's like, 8 teams make playoffs of 10. Like, that can't be exciting. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, it's pretty exciting right now. Wrong indeed, as every single slot feels like it's up for grabs.
Yeah, definitely is the case. Well, an overall weekend, though, of so many upsets, too. And I believe they're getting ready. We can see them on stage. It is going to be Vulcan for the interview. What up, James? We're ready. Give me a high five here. boom! Me and Mini Dash got some good synergy, Pastry.
Oh, we've added a third Dash to the Dash
We've
universe.
got Dark Dash and Mini Dash.
All right, well, who was the player of the game?
This one's my favorite.
We're not going to find out. In fact, we are going to indeed head over to the stage to join Vulcan and Dash for our Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you very much, Pacer Time. But this is Mini Dash, in case you didn't hear Kobe correctly that first time around. Player of the game is Vulcan, who's with me on stage. While it may have been a top carry from the perspective of the scoreline and the damage, it was you who kind of set it up to be just that. So I want to talk about strategy coming into the game, because even before seeing Champion Select, we on the analyst desk were looking at the Licorice Fudge matchup as two big difference makers for the squads, particularly in this split. Did you guys have the same idea even before the champions got picked in, or it was once you saw the matchup that you knew we were going to have to focus a lot around that top lane?
Well, it's the Fudge, so most of the time you want to play around the Fudge. It's not that complicated, in my opinion, and especially with the matchup they're playing, it can be pretty volatile, right? And after a certain point, if Gwen starts winning, then she'll win for the rest of the game, and the same could go for Renekton if he gets rolling. And Fudge has just really good communication at that timing, where he was like, I think I'm going to get dove. Can you come here, Phil? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I have nothing to do. Might as well come here. And then, as it turned out, I was like there at the perfect time to completely turn the dive around. And yeah, it was kind of smooth sailing after that, I'd say.
Yeah, life of a support right there. Yeah, I guess I'll be there when you need me. I was talking to Huhi a couple weeks ago, kind of about the role of support and how ultimately you divide your time, because it is one of those roles where it can be very hard for us as viewers to decipher your ultimate influence over the game. There isn't an opportunity for us to just look at CS difference and go, well, clearly he's outperforming his opponent. So for you, what does make the difference between a mediocre and a great support?
Well, I'd say the biggest thing is the ability to create plays and like advantages for his team, and it kind of comes into like creativity and how you're able to look for certain angles, or obviously, since you don't have to always be bot and you can kind of, like you said, like help the whole team or like the whole map in general, there's a lot of things that you can do. So it's about being at the right place at the right time. And it's kind of like, well, I kind of do it instinctively, I guess. I just look at the map and then it's like, well, maybe I should go here and maybe something good will happen, So maybe I'm just that good. Whatever it takes, right?
Maybe you are.
So.
Let's talk about where Cloud9 is right now in this split. First, to focus on the bot lane, you and Sven. I spoke to him a few weeks ago when he had just rejoined the roster, and he was very candid with me about saying, hey, I feel like to a degree I've still been stuck in the MSI, meta, relying on Kai'Sa and things like that, while the ADC meta has evolved a bit, and I've got some catch-up to do. We as a duo do when it comes to understanding the meta and how we want to play. Where are you guys now in your journey, just closing out week 7 as we move towards the end of the split?
I think we're doing a lot better. I think we've picked up most of the lines that we were like not playing before, and we have some new things that we might pull out next week. We'll see for that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we're doing good. Varus and Thresh was like a lane that we didn't play too much of, and Mithy was kind of saying it's a bit of a meme, Varus Thresh, because you want someone to go in with Varus. But yeah, that was like one of the lanes that we wouldn't do too well on, but it was good to have this performance today. And I think the performance I would attribute to the Red Bull I drank before the game, because I was feeling pretty tired.
Okay.
And then I decided to have a few sips. And I just felt so rejuvenated.
Rejuvenated, yeah.
That's the word, yeah. Thank you.
Got some wings.
And then, the
flying around the map.
rest is history, right?
Straight up to top lane.
Exactly.
Saving my top laner, bringing it home. Okay, final question for you is on Cloud9 and moving towards the rest of the split. Sven jokingly in his interview just yesterday said, well, we're not concerned about Golden Guardians because they only beat top teams. But in reality, I do want to discuss, again, for you as a person who has been, at the top of the league, and in fact just were in spring, where do you feel relative to the competition? So expanding kind of a similar question out to the whole team, where is Cloud9 at right now?
Top 3, I think.
Okay.
I'd say Hornets and TSM are pretty good, but I say all 3 of us are pretty inconsistent. We're losing games to teams that are below us in the standings or that we should be easily stronger than. So I'm not sure exactly how I would rank them, but I think maybe right now they're a bit better than us, but I'd say with the trajectory we have right now, I feel like we are on an upward trend. And
You sleeping on EG?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Aha.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. Top 4. I love it. Actually, fun fact, not even a question. Did you know that earlier today, Impact set the record for biggest gold difference of any laner in LCS history at 10 minutes with 2,801 gold over his lane opponent? Fudge hit the exact same number at 10 minutes in this game right here. So in the same day, we had 2 different top laners tie for the record.
Down
of
to the last
most goals.
digit?
Down to the last digit, 2,801 goal to 10 minutes.
Well, they're good.
They are just very good. And hey, they have something in common. All of them came from Cloud9. Vulcan, congratulations on the victory today. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
From here, we're going to a break. When we come back, it's going to be the MasterCard Player of the Week and the Bud Light Breakdown. We'll see you there. Welcome back, everyone. Now, after a wild weekend of record-breaking games, it's time to recognize our MasterCard Player of the Week. And wouldn't you guess it, it's Impact up there in the top lane for Evil Geniuses. I mean, especially after today's performance on Renekton. Hard to argue for really anyone else.
Right, I mean, like, not only did he solo kill his own laner, he teleported and solo killed the other mid laner, not the top laner.
Right.
So if you can just solo kill everyone in the game, are you just not, you know, the player of that game? And not only that, his other 2 games were also phenomenal. Even though he lost one of their games, we're not going to blame him for that one. He played phenomenally this weekend.
I mean, without a doubt. It was great to me, too, when I was talking to him in the interview, and he literally said, okay, after I got the first solo kill, like, I was feeling good, but then I go to the other lane, I get the other one, and we knew the game was over at that point. And that just shows, to me, also the mindset of a top-tier player who knows how to play an advantage. Because there's one thing to build one, and it's another to take that advantage and not let it go, not let it slip away, and actually close out the game.
I think it's so impressive because he's been playing for so long. I've played versus this guy, and I played for a while, but he's been playing longer than that. Not only that, he's still, throughout the history of his career, he's almost always been a top 3 top laner. Even now, I'd argue he's a top 3 top laner. So to be that good of a player for this long, he's definitely deserving of this for this week for sure.
And to do it in multiple styles, right?
Right.
Again, I know we talk about this a lot, but he's had a couple different games this split. The Gnar one jumps out, or from last split, where he can get held down as well in lane. So yes, there are pop-offs like this, but I think so much of his value comes from it not mattering what happens in lane so much, that you know this guy is going to be reliable when it gets to the team fights. You know that he's going to be a point of consistency on a team where consistency is necessary, because even he today said, you know, I look at Jizuke. Jizuke is the person who drives the team. He's the engine of the team. He's where all of our energy comes from. But sometimes you need somebody to balance all of that
He's a
out.
solid rock, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I remember this one time he was playing, it was in draft phase, right? And I was like, all right, we get a cool top lane pick. What do you got for us, Impact? He picks Shen. I'm like, I don't really think that's a top, top lane counter, right?
Yeah.
But he like solo killed the guy, hard carry them, and Shen. I'm like, all right, my bad, Impact. I'm sorry for doubting you on your counter pick, Shen. Apparently, Shen is a counter pick. I did not know that, but he like destroyed that guy. And ever since then, I'm like, okay, I trust this man.
Watch some more of this guy. You might learn a thing or two. Well, once again, congratulations to Impact on a much-deserved MasterCard Player of the Week. From here, we're heading over to the Bud Light Breakdown to close out the week.
Thank you, Dash. Welcome to the Bud Light Breakdown here at the end of this Sunday. I love that Hai brought up the fact that Impact has been playing for so long, still making an impact in the game. That was easy. Don't give me props for that.
I do that all the time though, accidentally. I say impact and then like use the actual impact.
Yeah.
And people are like, nice pun, and I'm like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just not smart.
Yeah, but either way, I think it was really cool to see what he was able to do for EG. I think even with the one loss that they suffered, if we're looking at this week as a whole, definitely still exciting, definitely still in the tippy top.
Absolutely, the tippy top indeed. Like, yeah, tippy top.
I'm just throwing all kinds of words and baiting you.
You know what's funny? In the interview with Vulcan, you know, even he is still sleeping on EG. Everyone's still sleeping on EG. He talked about who he thinks the top teams are, and it's like, oh yeah, forgot about EG. Maybe we're top 4, we're not top 3. So I think after this weekend, hopefully now the narrative around EG has changed a little bit, because they're on like an 11-game, 10 out of the last 11 games I think they've won or something close to that. At some point we have to be like, these guys are championship contenders.
Well, and they're actually tied for 3rd now in the Summer Split rankings. So the total rankings, not just Summer Split. In Summer Split, they're actually, you know, still tied with TSM at 2nd. But they're climbing up the standings, and like that one Sindri game ruined that, even though it's, you know, you could argue it was a good pick there. But I think EG is one of the hottest teams to look out for.
They're still on a win streak when playing marksman.
Yeah, we just ignore when not playing Sindri bot.
Just cherry pick.
Yeah, they're 10-0. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Well, we still have so much praise for them, even in the 2-1 week. All of the teams at this point kind of trading wins with one another. So what are you thinking when reflecting upon this? Teams that stood out to you, or even just how close some of these moments came to?
Yeah, I think C9 showed us one of their better looks. You know, I think, you know, as we mentioned, Fudge has been pretty consistent the whole time. But as individuals, the rest of the team didn't look great. But Vulcan had a really good pop-off performance today. Sven looked okay, you know, not at peak for sure. And Perks had some issues in lane. I think Ablazov got the better of him, but, you know, there was a lot of pressure in terms of dives. And overall, in team fights, he was really good. So I think C9 is starting to slowly ramp up to the peak that we hope that they're going to hit. And I think if you look at TSM, you know, they've shown us that we shouldn't really have any doubts about them, even though we continue to have doubts about, you know, how they look on melee champs and melee mid laners. When they're on their stock standard stuff, they still look incredible.
For me, I would say I came into this week a little uncertain on how the LCS was going to shake up. I'm leaving this week a little uncertain how the LCS is going to shake up. Like, you know, ESM, like you said, still looking pretty solid, all things considered. TL still hasn't actually beat a top team, generally speaking. So, you know, like a lot of the concerns are still there. You know, C9 still at a 500 record in Summer Split, even with this great game here. Flying GG look decent. Like, I don't know. I'm still, like, anything can happen. Any of the top 5 teams could realistically make Worlds, and I would be like, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we had Jensen on the desk, I could see the question marks all around his head when we asked him about the state of all the teams, and I see them around both of your heads and all of our heads right now, reflecting upon it all. As we do wrap up the first week of our final round robin here in Summer, 100 Thieves do maintain their solid hold on first place. So I do want to know if, after watching today's game closers pop off, if any of your feelings around this specific team have changed.
I feel like, no, like I said, my feelings coming into this week are largely still reflected. As crazy as a week as it was, the games were nuts. and like moment to moment, anything could happen. But when I walk away from it, I'm like, okay, 100 Thieves is probably still the best team. Then it's probably TSM or EG, depending on what you value. And then TL and C9 are still trying to find their footing. Golden Guardians and FlyQuest are still flying up the standings. CLG, Immortal starting to still struggle a little bit. So like, as crazy as it was, funnily enough, I'm like, I feel like we're right where we just ran in a circle.
Yeah, I think the only thing is maybe like if there was a massive hype train building for FlyQuest and Golden Guardians, it's sort of gotten the brakes a little bit, because like if they had looked this week how they looked last week, you would start making an argument for these guys being a threat in best of 5 as well. I still think that they are interesting teams, but they're not necessarily teams I'm gonna say, hey, these guys are going to make it into the deep rounds of playoffs.
I mean, even when the FlyQuest 3.0 hype train that I was on, when I saw their opponents this week and it was 3 top teams in a row, I was like, they'll be lucky to escape 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They escaped 1 and 2.
So they're lucky.
Yeah, well, that makes it sound worse than I meant. That's actually a decent showing.
Yeah, no, that's good. I did you dirty.
I think in the end, we don't want to see those kind of teams lose their fire, right? And even in the losses, we still saw that fire sparkling in their eyes. Next Friday, we are coming out of the gate with a certified humdinger of a game. It's Cloud9 taking on 100 Thieves. We just had all these props to say about Fudge even going into that game and the rest of the squad really ramping up.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really exciting schedule in general. You have Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves. If there's a game to prove you're back in form, that's absolutely it for them. TSM, EG, these guys are tied in Summer to Mark's point. And I feel like EG, if you want people to really believe in you, this is a team that you want to beat as well. And even with TL FlyQuest, I mean, I'm still not sold on Team Liquid quite at this moment. I do think they're going to be back in form, but FlyQuest is a really threatening team. It's really, really proactive, and I don't think TL will just be able to go in with a set game plan. So I think they're going to test a lot of their flexibility.
The thing I'm looking forward to with the TSM EG one too is that's usually like you're going to circle that early on, and be like, okay, we're going to go try hard here. We're going to pick what we actually think is our best option. So that's what I like about that game, especially given that's early in the week. They'll have a lot of time to prep for it, and we'll give a good indication. I mean, it's best of 1, anything can happen, of course, but it is the interesting one for me.
Yeah, and traditionally, it's felt like stylistically, EG kind of counters TSM, right? EG plays super hyper-aggressive early game, and TSM, kind of the issue they have sometimes is that when they fall behind early game, they just get run over by some of these more proactive teams. So this will be a good test for TSM of like, are you playoff ready? Like, are you first place contender ready against teams that sort of hard counter what your forte is?
Yeah, between 100 Thieves facing off against Cloud9, EG facing off against TSM. We got some high-octane matches to kick off next weekend. But the weekend that we have going on right now isn't quite over. The show will continue on the Bud Light League Lounge with myself, Dash, Kobe, and C9's very own Blabber after that victory over on twitch.tv/BudLight. But that does conclude our LCS game. So on behalf of myself, the casters, analysts, and live broadcast crew, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Until then, good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night.